Got a Sony DCRTRV330. This is a digital 8 camcorder with analog playback capabilities, sent up from a customer or from a viewer to have it looked at to see if we can find out what's wrong with it. Complaint on this one is it has no picture. And I'm going to get to try out my new cordless screwdriver, which I'll be reviewing in a separate upcoming video. Check this one out. I got a Sony Handycam set in for repair. This one's a DCRTRV330. This is a digital 8 Handycam, and apparently it does not work. So let's plug it in and see what it does. Okay, that part opens. Got a tape. Put a tape in it and see what it does. Now this is an 8mm tape. So let's just go into the menu and see if this one has analog playback on it or not. As they say, some did, others didn't. So let's just see whether this one does support. Yeah, this one does support high 8. So this is a compatible machine. I'll just put it into high 8 mode. I just want to see what happens on the screen, if anything. Okay, play. There's sound. Notice the tape counter is moving, so it is reading a signal. But we're not getting any video. You know what I'm thinking, right? It's the edge connectors that connect the chassis to the board along the top edge. That's what I'm thinking. And that's what I'm going to check. And I kind of get a noisy picture. So first thing first, let's open this unit up and see if it's something that's obvious. Try out this new screwdriver. See how this thing works. Oh, it works pretty good for these little screws. I like it already. And it fits them too. All the arrow mark screws. I'll turn on some more light so we can see what I'm doing. There, that's a bit better. That screwdriver, by the way, is automatic. I just push a button and just turn it one way or the other. And if I rotate it counterclockwise, it unscrews. So I rotate it slightly clockwise, it screws the screw in and it stops on the correct torque. I did a review on this. I'll be putting that video up next. So this is kind of, you'll see some shots from this video
I need to take out
in the review video.
And another one over here.
But I needed something to use it with to review it. So, liking it already.
And lift that off. Take off this door.
I know taking out a zillion screws probably isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I want to show what screws have to come out to service one of these. That's why I'm not cutting anything out from this portion, because I want you to see the amount of work required to tear one of these down to do this repair. So I'm going to let it play in real time.
Just to get that out of the way. It doesn't need to come off, but it's in the way. Remove the front camera lens piece. I got all the screws out for this. Oh, one more. Another screw down here somewhere. Yep. I don't think there's one down on this one. Just one more here. Should pop apart. Of course, there's always that one last hidden screw, right? Now it should open up. more. There. The first thing I always suspect on all these camcorders is the connectors, that the drum and so forth are connected to the main board. It's a very common failure on all of these camcorders, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to reseat them. We do that just by unplugging and replugging the connectors in. This one here, they've put some sticky tape on it. This is one that's always been problematic with people getting moisture into it. We're just going to undo them all and reseat and even look at them, see if there's any signs that there's been any moisture in any of these edge connectors. You gotta be really careful removing these edge connectors because they do break quite easy. So I'm just gonna remove them and then reseat them. And then I'll try the camera again and see if it's made any difference as far as playing back the tape goes. Because many times this is all that's needed to be done on these. It's such a common problem. And when Sony moved the connector to the top side of the board from the bottom, the problem got even worse because, of course, anytime anybody gets any liquid on the unit, it's going to run right into those edge connectors on the top. Okay, let's try powering the camera up again and see whether I get any different results when I attempt to play a tape back.
This was a very, very common problem on the A mechanism, the B mechanism. This one, at the shop, we charge $150 to do this type of work, and I would do probably 10 of them a week. It was so busy when they all started failing, one after another. It was the number one fault on camcorders, was that on several different chassis.
Oh, do I have to have this plugged in? I don't think I do. Just have to have it in playback mode. Okay. Oh. It's detected that it's a high 8 tape this time. Ah! I got a picture. I got a portion of a picture. Oops. Try that again. Play. Just fingernail to the top of the head here a bit. I do believe I fixed it. I fixed another one. I fixed another one. Same problem that they all have. You guys saw it. The only thing I did, undo the 3 connectors, put them back in, and then of course cleaned off the head using the edge of my fingernail against the rotating head drum, and you don't put much pressure at all on there. Just ever so slightly touch it with your fingernail, and it will clear out a clogged head every bit as good as a cleaning tape. Just like that, just the edge. You just feel just ever so slightly, and it will clear the head. There's no sound on here now because the sound goes through this because of the earphone plug is on here, so when the cord is unplugged you won't get any sound through the built-in speaker. But this one's fixed, so let's get a digital 8 tape. We'll make sure that it can play back digital 8. So there's playback on my monitor. This is still an 8mm tape. I'm going to load a digital 8 tape in here momentarily. Just got to kind of turn the unit over so that I can carefully release the latch. There we go. Eject the tape. And I'll put in a
digital 8 tape, which I won't be able to play the sound off this because it'll have copyright music on it for sure. This was a dance recital I did years and years and years and years ago, so I'll have to kill the sound, but I'm sure I can probably show the picture. And we should have color bars, which we do. And we'll just skip ahead to where the actual production starts, because we put a minute of blank bars on at the beginning like everybody did. Probably show this part. This is from 1999. Okay, now I gotta probably shut the sound off right there because I'll have music on here that I can't use. But anyway, 2-camera production. This was probably, I think my EVW300 was being used, and this would be EVW300 and probably a could have been a VX3. I think I shot this on high 8 and then edited it up to digital 8. Pretty sure this was probably shot full high 8. So EVW300 and VX3, or it could have been EVW300 into a digital 8 recorder and a VX1000. It was probably a VX1000 for one shot, and EVW300 into a second, like an outboard digital 8, because I did a lot of that as at the transition period. I was using a VX1000, which is a mini DV camera, and I was using an EVW300, which was my professional high 8 camera, but I had an outboard digital deck to record, and I actually used a DCRTRV330 as the recorder, because it would accept an analog input, S-video and audio, and record digitally. You can tell which camera is which. That's the EVW300, and that's the VX1000. The EVW300 had better color. But that tape's held up well. That tape's, what, 22 years old? Anyway, this one is working. So I can put this one back together. And I know we've gone over this before, but I'll go over it again. This AV cable is specific to Sony. This is not a standard cable. You cannot use, say, this one that comes with a Samsung TV that looks the same, but it's not. Internally, it's wired differently. Sony cameras required the Sony special cable, and Sony charged around $50 for this, and that cable is no longer available. So if you're looking for one, beware. But you can buy these things; they're a dime a dozen. They will not work with a Sony camera. Just telling you guys. I've been through that before, but it's worth going over because not everybody's seen the old videos. So I figure I'll go over it whenever I review one of these cameras or do a repair on one of these cameras that requires that special adapter. We'll go through that. I'm just going to make sure that this is in place properly, because sometimes they slip out of position. And there we go. That's in place. That's for the memory stick or SD card or whatever this one uses to store still pictures. And then the camera just pops together. Make sure that the night shot is over its linkage, and then make sure that the ribbon cable is under. And now we can start putting the screws back in. I'll use this little fancy new screwdriver I got. Place the screw, press the button, give it a bit of a twist to the right. I'm liking this thing already. I know you guys probably haven't even seen the review for this yet, because I shot the review for this little rechargeable screwdriver, and now I'm using it. So consider this the review. This is better than the review because I'm actually using it, and maybe we'll use some shots from this in the review itself. I'm sure I will.
tell you, I certainly wouldn't have been doing this yesterday, that's for sure. It was so hot yesterday. We set records here. It was, on the Celsius scale, it was 38 in the shop yesterday. Today it's only 24, but it's also 7 o'clock at night. Today was a bit warm earlier today too, but not as bad as yesterday. We just came through a record-breaking heat wave that has never ever been recorded here where I am in the lower mainland of BC. It has never been this hot. We broke every record over the past 3 days, and it was nasty to say the least. I had to work outside too over the weekend. I just about died. It was so hot. I would be running to my work truck and diving into the truck with the air conditioning running. Screw the anti-idling policy. I left that thing running pretty much all day whenever I was in it. It wasn't running when I wasn't in it, obviously, but anytime I was in it, that engine was running and that air was cranked up full. It was so hot yesterday, and on Sunday and on Saturday we had like 4 days. My 4-day work week. I worked 4 days. I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The whole 4 days we broke records every single day. So today was quite relaxing. It was a little bit cooler. It's still warm, but it was a little bit more bearable. And if it had, like yesterday, I would not have been doing this. I would have not have been in the shop here working and say, no way, I'm just going to retreat to the air-conditioned house. And speaking of air conditioning, I'm going to pay for that on my electric bill at the end of the month. It is going to kill me. Literally, it's going to kill me. I bet you my electric bill for the month, or well, for 2 months, we get billed for 2 months, but I bet you it'll be $1,000, if not more. I have a little energy meter that tells me how much energy I used, and on the hottest days there, the second to the hottest day, I used $25 in energy just to cool the house, and I probably used at least that yesterday. It was nasty, very nasty. But hey, global warming is all fake, right? There's no such thing. See what I just did? I just put this on in the wrong order. I gotta put this other piece on first. I gotta remove this again and try not to disengage that connector. Sony, you buggers. I hate these cameras. There. You gotta, this is one clip you gotta get out, and usually when it lets go was in such a way that you end up pulling the whole front panel off and disconnecting at least the ribbon cable. It comes out of the plug without breaking, as a rule. I guess some people might break it if they're not careful, but okay, now this back on again for the second time. I like it. This screwdriver is kind of cool. To use it, I just push the button and then rotate which direction I want it to go. So if I turn it to the right, it'll screw it in. If I turn it to the left, it'll unscrew it. So I put the screw in place, press the button, and just give it a bit of a turn, and that's it. It's pretty slick. I'm liking this screwdriver. You're going to see it in a lot of videos, especially when things that are small like this. You're going to see this thing in every one of them because the bits fit, and it's effortless. Literally, it's effortless. And it takes them all to the exact torque and then stops. No stripping screws. Just So this one's now back together. We'll just put the hand strap back on and give it a final test, and then I will get this one sent back to Mobile, Alabama, where it came from. So there's that, and lens cap on. Plug it in, do one final test, make sure everything's working. AV output. Sound on here. Picture on the other one. So that's a digital 8 tape that's playing. We'll just go back to that analog tape for one last look at that, and then this one is all done. Okay, switching from digital 8 to high 8. There we go. There we go, that one's all done. This one's all fixed up. Thanks for watching. Oh, before I send it out, I'll just make sure that the camera actually turns on and puts out a picture, which it does. Sorry, headphone wearers. Okay, there it is, all done. You want to donate to my channel? There's the best way to do it. That and Patreon. We'll catch you in the next one real soon. Bye for now.